We are very pleased today. We have our guest of honor, Dr. Jana Chong, founder president of Indo Korea Business Culture Center. So, madam, floor is yours. So, 15 minutes.
Hello, hi, my name is Dr. Jenna Jang, and my subject is why Indo-Pacific region is important to South Korea. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Namaste. In Korean, we say 안녕하세요. It is a great privilege and honor for me to stand before this August House to represent Indo-Korea Business Culture Center as the founder president. It is surely a blessing from the God to give me this opportunity to be addressing this August gathering from this platform of Srimad Bhagavad Gita Sadan, Kurukshetra University, and the land where the epic battle of Mahabharata took place, an important pilgrim site and a holy land. The place is also where the Krishna preached Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and Sage Manu wrote Manu Smriti. Kurukshetra is considered many pilgrimage places, temples, and sacred ponds. I feel today has been a pilgrimage for me as well. So full credit goes to the organizers, especially Professor V.N. Artriji, Vice Chancellor Somnatha Sakhedva-ji, and seasoned veteran Indian diplomats like Sanjay Gupta-ji and Anup Motka-ji, and Kurukshetra University and the team to organize this third international conference of International Center for Indo-Pacific Studies, and collaborating with Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. New Delhi is important in the recent geopolitical shift of the balance of power to the global south and the importance of Indo-Pacific region. Also to select Kurukshetra as the venue so that such an effort must have God's blessings to discuss on security dynamics, climate change, and sustainable development in Indo-Pacific region. I'm very confident on the outcome of this conference, and all like-minded countries who have assembled here must find right solutions. Just as the Bhagavad Gita revealed in the Holy Land of Kurukshetra, the chariot of Lord Krishna and the galloping horses that signify a symbolic journey from the darkness of ignorance to the eternal light of enlightenment. So also this conference will remove all darkness and enlighten us with such distinguished domestic and international panelists with a tremendous experience and expertise on security dynamics, climate change, and sustainable development in Indo-Pacific region. Now I'm going to talk about recent development in Indo-Pacific economic framework. As I come from South Korea and feel very privileged to represent my country, I would like to state that the Korean government has highly emphasized that this Indo-Pacific region must be free, peaceful, and prosperous Indo-Pacific region through solidarity and cooperation with major countries, including ASEAN. We are all living in the Indo-Pacific era. The Indo-Pacific accounts for more than 60% of the world's GDP and half of global maritime transport. The Republic of Korea, the Indo-Pacific strategy, is a comprehensive strategy that encompasses the economic and security realms of Indo-Pacific nations. As the Republic of Korea is an Indo-Pacific nation, our national interests are directly tied to the stability and prosperity in the region, while strengthening the rule-based international order, which is conducive to a stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific. South Korea will work towards a regional order that enables a diverse set of nations to cooperate and prosper together. It is also an economically and technologically dynamic region where our key partners of strategic industries, such as semiconductors, are located. In recognition of the strategic importance of the Indo-Pacific, countries around the globe have increased engagement with the region and are putting forth their respective Indo-Pacific strategies. The Republic of Korea, ROK, began to formulate its own Indo-Pacific strategy with the